Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. If you can introduce yourself.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh. I'm Salahuddin. I'm a revert to Islam. I've been Muslim for about 2.5 years now, and I was called Richard before.
Okay, so what made you turn towards Islam? What was the stepping stone for you to come to the deen of Islam?
Basically, I was brought up in Weymouth, which is on the south coast, and people down there are very unreligious. And obviously in Islam we understand that we have a fitrah, which is a natural belief in wrong and right, and there's one creator. So I guess the more I saw corruption in my adulthood, the more I was questioning things, and the more that I looked for the solution to all the corruption that was taking place. Obviously you start off with Christianity in a Christian country, so I was looking at that and it wasn't adding up for me. So then someone in my workplace was giving me dawah, and then alhamdulillah I looked into Islam, and that was it really.
Okay, so when you became a Muslim, did you face any challenges with your family or your friends around you? Did you have to break away or leave the house for certain reasons where you couldn't fulfill your obligations, or was your family accepted with all your beliefs?
Yeah, I mean, alhamdulillah, I always lived throughout my adult life. I always lived by myself, so I used to see them at Christmas and maybe Easter and things like that. So it was a bit hard for them getting used to the fact that I wasn't going to participate in these kind of things. But over the years, I think I showed them that we have, how important Islam is, how important the family is in Islam, and we have our own celebrations and stuff like that. But still, they're going to find it a bit difficult to come to terms with. But it's something that has to be done.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So obviously, once you embraced Islam, was it a quick process of giving up all the things that you were used to before, or was it a sort of gradual process that you had to take?
Yeah, for me, I was working at BBC Broadcasting House, and I was studying Christianity at the time. And one of my work colleagues was a practicing Muslim, big bearded brother, and he used to always debate with me about Christianity and Islam. And once I had seen a falsehood in Christianity, I started looking into Islam. He'd educate me on a lot of things, ask him a lot of questions, do a lot of research, and then when I was fully satisfied that Islam was definitely the truth and I had no doubts about it, then I took the means to take my shahada, and that was it. I haven't looked back since.
Okay, so would you say you were praying straight away and you gave up everything prior to Islam, or you obviously there's certain things you had to take time with?
Yeah, basically a lot of people, they come Muslim just from a dawah stall. They hadn't really been thinking about Islam, and someone stops them in the high street and convinces them intellectually or spiritually, and then they become Muslim, but they're still a bit half-hearted, and maybe they take a few weeks to start learning how to pray. But as I said, for me, I was looking into Islam a long time before and researching it in depth. So when I took my shahada, I was 100% sure. So I was ready to completely give up whatever's necessary. Because obviously one of the pillars of Iman is to believe in the hereafter, the paradise or hellfire. And if you really believe in hell, obviously you're going to give up anything in order to avoid that. And if you believe in paradise, you're going to give up anything in order to obtain the paradise. So I was ready to give up whatever was necessary.
Okay, so we see today there's many Muslims struggling in terms of the obligations and stuff like this. Obviously they're involved in gangs, the music industry, and etc. Would you have any advice for them in terms of how they could live that lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, I would question anyone that gets caught up in these kind of things, that if they're true believers. I think really they need to look within themselves and question whether they really believe in hell. Because if you really believe in hell, if there's a bonfire right next to you, you'll do whatever it takes to avoid going there. But for some reason you get deceived about the fire of hell, which is going to be far hotter than that, 69 times hotter. So I think you need to question yourself if you really are a true believer, and always remember about the hereafter and the destroyer of all pleasures, which is death, and what's going to happen to you after that. Are you going to be questioned in the grave? Are you going to be successful? Or are you going to be amongst those who are getting their heads smashed with the angel of death and then end up in hellfire?
Okay, alhamdulillah. And in terms of maybe any non-Muslims watching this, was there any message you'd like to say, or in terms of media propaganda that's going out there about Muslims and Islam? Is there anything you'd like to clarify and advise them on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say obviously myself, I was brought up white English, typical seaside town in South England, and obviously I had a lot of misconceptions about Islam and a lot of stereotypes and things that didn't, because I wasn't used to the Islamic culture. There's a lot of things that seemed unnecessary and a lot of things that come across as evil. But when you look into it, openly, objectively, and you see the actual truth and actually just take it from the practicing Muslims rather than the non-Muslims that want to attack Islam, and you start to see the wisdom behind it, because everyone thinks that they know what is right and wrong, and there's nearly 7 billion people on the planet now, and everyone thinks they know what's right and wrong, and they follow their own understanding of what's right and wrong and their purpose of life. But I'd say to everyone, the only one who knows what is right and wrong is the Creator. And there's no point making your own God and your own philosophies. There can only be one God and only one way of life, and that is Islam. And when you're sincere, I'm sure that you will be guided to look into Islam, and it will settle with your natural disposition, your natural understanding, and you'll be successful, inshaAllah.
Jazakallah khair for your time.
Wa yakum aki.
Inshallah.
Barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.